Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I'm so incredibly excited you're here because today we're diving into something truly magical. I want you to imagine a giant, ancient, and brilliantly colorful web of stories. We're talking about a web so massive that it stretches across mountains, across rivers, and deep into forests, literally connecting millions of people over thousands of years. So today, we're going to explore India's diverse literature, and we'll discover how these ancient stories actually weave an entire country together.
Okay, let's dive right into this and set up our roadmap for today. We'll start with unity in Indian literature, follow the Panchatantra's amazing global journey, explore the two great epics, look at some really cool regional and tribal versions, and wrap it all up with a quick summary and a quiz.
Section 1. Unity in Indian Literature. These are the stories that connect us all. To really see this unity in action, we have to talk about the Panchatantra. I mean, who hasn't heard of it, right? It's this classic collection of delightful stories that uses animals as the main characters to teach us some seriously important life skills. And you might be wondering, why animals? Well, because learning how to be a loyal friend or figuring out how to be clever in a super tricky situation is just way more fun when your teacher is a talking monkey, a clever jackal, or maybe a slow but steady turtle. It takes these big life lessons and turns them into a fantastic adventure. Now, consider this number for a second. The original Sanskrit text of the Panchatantra is old. I mean, really, really old. It is at least 2,200 years old. Just imagine that. Way before the internet, before television, before even printed books existed, people were sitting around under trees or by a campfire, listening to the exact same animal fables that you and I can read today. But here's the coolest part. These stories didn't just stay put in India. Nope. They basically packed their bags and went on a massive world tour. Starting out as original Sanskrit texts in India, they traveled along trade routes with merchants and travelers all the way to Southeast Asia. From there, they made their way into the Arab world and eventually traveled all the way over to Europe. They ended up inspiring entirely new collections of stories along the way, which just goes to show that a really great story is universally loved no matter where you live. And because they traveled so far and wide, people started, making them their own. Today, experts estimate that there are about 200 different adaptations of the Panchatantra out there. That means these original tales were remixed, reimagined, and retold in 200 completely different ways just to perfectly fit the local cultures of the folks hearing them.
And they aren't just in one language either. Those 200 adaptations, they exist in more than 50 different languages. I think this perfectly illustrates such a beautiful concept. It shows how one single collection of stories became many. It started as just one little seed in India and absolutely bloomed into this massive global garden of literature.
Now, let's move on to Section 2, the two great epics. These are arguably the biggest stories ever told. But before we go any further, what exactly is an epic? Well, an epic is a very long poem, and it generally narrates the incredible adventures of heroes and other great figures from the past. These definitely aren't just quick 5-minute bedtime stories. They are these massive, sweeping tales filled with huge battles, magic, family drama, and grand destiny. To give you a real sense of just how massive these epics are, take a look at this number. If you were to take the original Sanskrit versions of the Rāmāyaṇa and the Mahābhārata and put them together, they would fill roughly 7,000 pages. Seriously, if you printed those pages out and stacked them up, that pile would literally be taller than your desk at school. They are without a doubt among the richest and most abundant literary works in the entire world. So let's break down what actually happens in these two giant poems. First up, the Mahabharata. This is the story of a massive family conflict. The Pandavas, with the help of Krishna, have to fight their own cousins, the Kauravas, to win back their rightful kingdom. Then we have the Rāmāyaṇa. This one follows Rama, who teams up with his brother Lakshmana and the mighty monkey hero Hanuman. Together, they have to defeat the powerful demon Ravana after he kidnaps Rama's wife, Sita. So we've got two completely different plots, but both are just incredibly thrilling.
But beyond all the epic battles, the flying arrows, and the mind-blowing magic, both of these stories actually share one ultimate goal. The heroes are fighting to reestablish Dharma. Now, Dharma basically means doing what is right. Throughout all 7,000 of those pages, there are countless shorter little stories mixed in that constantly ask us big questions about our values. What's right? What's wrong? How should a good person actually act? See, these epics aren't just ancient action movies. They're really guides on how to live a good, just life.
All right, moving to Section 3, regional and tribal versions. Let's see how local communities took these epics and really made them their own. Okay, check out this absolutely mind-blowing fact. A scholar once conducted a survey in just the state of Tamil Nadu alone. And guess what? They found about 100 different folklore versions of the Mahabharata. Just in one single state. Can you even imagine what the number would be if we went around and counted every single folklore version across the entire country of India? The number would be absolutely huge.
And this deep personal connection to the epics is especially true for tribal communities. Groups like the Bhils, the Gonds, the Mundas, as well as various tribes up in the northeast and the Himalayan regions like Kashmir, they all have their very own versions. And they didn't just write these down in a book, they transmitted them orally. That means they spoke them, recited them, and sang them out loud, passing them down from generation to generation. Actually, a lot of these tribes even have local legends claiming that the 5 Pandavas, or heroes like Rama, actually visited their specific villages or forests during their adventures. How cool is that?
To understand how all this spreading of stories works, we rely on scientists who study human culture. These folks are called anthropologists. An anthropologist is basically a scholar who studies human societies, cultures, and how they develop over time. There was this one very famous Indian anthropologist named K.S. Singh, and he directed a massive study called the People of India Project, where he looked exactly at how these specific stories spread across the land.
And during his research, K.S. Singh observed something amazing. He said, there is hardly a place in the country which the epic heroes, such as the Pandavas, did not visit according to folklores. Over the centuries, these two epics created this incredibly dense, tangled web of cultural interactions all across India and Asia. Literally, no matter where you go in India, you are going to find a little piece of these epics hiding somewhere in the local landscape.
Section 4, Summary and Rapid Revision. Let's quickly recap what we've learned so far. So, the crucial point we really need to take away comes down to 3 main ideas. Number 1, India offers immense diversity. We're talking landscapes, people, clothing, food, and languages. Number 2, while all that diversity is super easy to see on the surface, there is always a very strong underlying unity connecting everyone together, kind of like those shared themes we saw in the Panchatantra and the epics. And finally, number 3, India's unity totally celebrates this diversity because having different perspectives doesn't divide people, it actually enriches them.
In fact, India's very first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, noticed this profound sense of unity way back before independence. He wrote that the old epics of India were widely known among the masses. He even noted that illiterate villagers, people who actually couldn't read or write, knew hundreds of verses strictly by heart. Their everyday conversations were just packed full of references to these moral stories. These tales were literally engraved in the popular mind of the people.
All right, final section, chapter exercises and quiz. It's time to test our knowledge. So here's a really great thinking question for you all. Think about a story from the Panchatantra, maybe the one about the clever monkey and the crocodile or the thirsty crow. Now ask yourself, are the messages in these 2,200-year-old animal stories actually still valid for you and me today? Just take a quick second and really think about it. Well, the answer is a massive, resounding yes. The life lessons they teach, like how to choose good friends, why it's super important to be clever and not just rely on being strong, and why doing the right thing or following your drama matters so much, those things simply never get old. Human nature hasn't really changed, even if our technology has. So yes, a super smart turtle from 2,000 years ago definitely still has some absolutely fantastic advice for anyone living today. And before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final exciting challenge. Is there any ancient story that you have personally seen recently depicted in some form of art? Maybe you saw a really cool painting, watched classical dance, noticed the modern sculpture, or even saw it in a huge blockbuster movie. You see, these ancient stories are hiding everywhere in our modern world, just waiting for you to spot them. Keep your eyes peeled, keep reading, and I'll catch you all in our next explainer.